Hello Class 7 students, welcome to Brainwaves Class English. This is your English educator Bhumi, and today we are going to restart our class again with chapter number 7, The Invention of Vita-Wonk, written by Roald Dahl. So here in this story, we would be introduced with a character named as Mr. Willy Wonka, who is the owner of the chocolate factory. He has decided to invent Wonka White. What is Wonka White? Wonka White is something which will make people younger. After taking this, what was the result that was observed to people? The result that could be seen in people was a sudden decrease of years. They became very young, even some of them disappeared. Now, why they disappeared? They disappeared because their years went to minus. We know that our years always goes for, like, if your age is 10, next year it will be 11, next year again it will become 12. But in this case over here, the age is going on decreasing. Like if anybody's age is 50, it is becoming 49, it is becoming 48, 47, like this. Why it is becoming? Because of Wonka White. It's an invention done by Mr. Willy Wonka. An example is also given that one person's age has become minus 87. That means he need to wait for 87 years to become visible, because after 87 years his age would be 0 and then he would be visible like age 1, age 2. So this way it worked. Okay, so now we got into the intro part of this story. So now let's begin the class and go into details. That after that what happened and whether he could invent something new, and if yes, so what was it? Let's go into the story. Mr. Wonka said, so once again I rolled up my sleeves and set to work. Once again I squeezed my brain, searching for the new recipe. I had to create age, to make people old, older, oldest. Ha ha. So here Mr. Wonka is telling that once again I need to squeeze my brain. That means I need to use my brain. For what? For what he need to use his brain? He need to use his brain to create age of people, to make people older, oldest, like this. Because previously he had invented something which makes people's age in a decreased manner, right? But now he need to increase the age. That is to make normal. Now new ideas were coming out in his mind, and Mr. Willy Wonka, he asked a question to Charlie, who was near him. He asked, what is the oldest living thing in the world? What lives longer than anything else? Let's see what Charlie has given the answer. Okay, so Charlie had gave the answer. The oldest living thing was a tree. Now what Mr. Wonka had done after knowing the answer? He added that it is the bristlecone pine tree growing in the slopes of Willard Peak in Nevada, USA. It is that tree which lives longer than anything else. So after it, Mr. Wonka went into the great glass elevator to travel across the world. For what? To collect items from oldest living things. What he had collected? It's given in your book, the bullet points. The bullet points that is written in your book, it is the things that he had collected. Actually, this is the recipe for making the new invention, okay? I am not reading these bullet points now. Your first job will be to pause the video and fast, very fast, you will read all the bullet points, because the pronunciation is a little bit difficult. You should read this, okay? And after that, you play the video and go for the next part of the explanation. I would directly start with the next part, okay? Now, next, he is saying that he tracked down very old and ancient animals and took an important little bit of something from each one of them. What he had took? A hair on an eyebrow, or sometimes it was no more than an ounce or two of the jam scraped from between its toes while it was sleeping. So just these are all the ingredients, I would tell, to make the new experiment. Okay? He also tracked down means he followed. Okay? He followed the whistle pig, the bobo link, the scrock, the polyfrog, the giant curlicue, the stinging slug, and the venomous squircle. Now, a little bit description is given about venomous squircle. It is given that it is an animal which spit poison right exactly in your eye, even from 50 yards away also. But there is no time to tell you about all these things, Charlie. All these things, whatever he is telling that time, he was telling actually. Whom to he was telling? He was telling, he was talking, he was describing rather all his experience. To whom? Yes, I want to know the answer. Charlie, exactly. Let me just say quickly that in the end, after lots of boiling and bubbling and mixing and testing in, means he was, after all these ingredients taken, he boiled that. High temperature, he boiled that. Lots of boiling. Bubbling also, bubbles also came out. Then tasting in my inventing room. After making that, he tasted that also. And he wanted to know the result. The liquid was one tiny cup full of oily black liquid, and he gave 4 drops it to a brave 20-year-old Ompa Lompa volunteer to see what happened. So Ompa Lompa was a person whose in whose the experiment was performed, and here brave is written before the name. Why? Because really a courage is required to see or to test for the first time that this particular liquid is working or not, because it is not known still now that this particular liquid will work or not. So really a courage is required. Anything can happen at any moment because nothing is known to nobody. The moment he swallowed it, he began wrinkling and shivering up all over, and his hair started dropping off, and his teeth started falling out. And before I knew it, he had suddenly become an old fellow of 75. And thus, my dear Charlie, was Vita-Wonk invented. So here, finally, this particular experiment worked. Ompa Lompa was the person in whom the experiment was performed, and finally the result could be observed. Teeth fall out, hairs drop out, and that man, and he turned to 75. Teeth fall out, hair drop out. This means that that particular man turned, or I would say became old. This way the experiment came truth and it succeedified. So all these things Mr. Wonka was actually telling to Charlie. So over here 2 characters were introduced, Mr. Wonka and Charlie. Hope that all of you understood what is there overall here. It's a very short story comparable to rest of the stories in your book. This one is the shortest story, right? Okay, fine. So hope that you understood this video. If you like this video, kindly click on that like button. Even if you have any doubt, kindly type the doubt in the comment box. I would surely reply to each and every doubts what you have. I do that. I'm not just telling I meant for it. I do that. So if you have any doubt, ask it in the comment box. I would surely give the answer within 1-2 days. Okay? So if you like our channel, if you like our video, if you understand, kindly share this video to your friends so that they also would be benefited like you. Thank you very much. We will meet again on next day with our chapter number 8. So be connected with us. Thank you.